The meeting will come to order. We are now holding the annual meeting of Business Professionals of America Michigan Association. Madam Vice President, what are the major purposes of our professional organization?
We recognize the importance and understand the contributions that have been made to our country by business professionals. We are preparing to take our place in these challenging positions. We work together in Business Professionals of America to develop essential competencies in leadership, scholarship, character, and citizenship so that we may share in the improvements of our economy and the advancement of our nation.
May we accomplish these objectives. Madam Vice President, will you please present the officers?
With pleasure, I introduce State President Savi Bandaranaike, State Historian Abby Walther, State Secretary Treasurer Chloe Osterman, State Parliamentarian James Anderson, Vice President of Communication Curtis Brashaw, and myself, Executive Vice President Maura McSweeney. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Will all members and guests please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and remain standing for the Business Professionals of America pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fellow members and guests, please join me in reciting the Business Professionals of America pledge as shown on screen. We are met in a spirit of friendship and goodwill as we prepare for careers in a world-class workforce. We work together to develop professionalism and leadership through Business Professionals of America and pledge our loyalty to our nation. Please be seated. The first item of business is the reports of the Conference Committee. The Chair recognizes the Vice President of Communication, Curtis Brashaw, to present the Credentials Committee report.
Mr. President, attached is the list of the names of the voting members of the conference as of 6:33 p.m. The committee reports that there are the following number of voting delegates entitled to vote: 187. In addition, the committee reports the following non-voting members present: elected officers, 6, past presidents of Michigan BPA, 4, past national officers, 5, alumni, 35, chapter members, 1,493, total number in attendance, 1,940. On behalf of the committee, I move that the roll of delegates hereby submitted be the official roll of voting and non-voting members and guests of the conference.
It is moved to adopt the Credentials Committee report. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to a vote on the Credentials Committee report. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Thank you, Curtis. The Chair recognizes State Parliamentarian James Anderson to present the Conference Standing Rules Committee report.
The Conference Standing Rules Committee reports and presents the following standing rules for this annual conference. Number 1, directly after the opening ceremonies of the annual business meeting, the Credentials Committees shall report the number of delegates registered as present with proper credentials, and shall make a supplementary report prior to adjourning the annual business meeting. Number 2, voting delegates shall be required to wear a voting delegate ribbon issued by the Credentials Committee in order to be seated in the delegate session of the ballroom. Number 3, voting delegates that leave before the conclusion of the annual business meeting and opening session shall lose their voting privileges for the remainder of the conference. Alternates or proxies are not allowed. Number 4, name badges and wristbands shall be worn for admission to all meetings, workshops, and conference events. Badges or wristbands may not be transferred. Number 5, voting delegates wishing to speak shall stand and state their name and school. Upon being recognized, the delegate shall state their business. Number 6, all main motions and amendments thereto shall be written, signed by the mover, and given to the secretary after being stated by the president. Number 7, no member may speak more than once on the same question or for longer than 2 minutes. In the case of the maker of a motion and the first speaker in opposition to it, 3 minutes shall be allowed. Individuals called on to provide information or to make reports are not governed by this rule. Number 8, the president shall appoint a committee of 3 to read and approve the conference minutes. Number 9, nominations from the floor for officer elections will not be allowed. Number 10, the delegate code of conduct and dress code previously published in the conference registration materials and included in the conference mobile app will hereby be enforced throughout the conference, and the reading of these documents to the assembly shall not be required. By direction of the Conference Standing Rules Committee, I move the adoption of the standing rules as just read.
It is moved to adopt the conference standing rules. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. Adoption of the standing rules requires a 2/3 vote. All voting delegates in favor of adopting the standing rules, please rise. Be seated. Those opposed, please rise. Be seated. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the standing rules are adopted. Thank you, James. The chair recognizes State Historian Abby Walther to present the Program Committee report.
Mr. President, an electronic version of the program as proposed by the Program Committee was provided to all delegates by way of the Michigan BPA website and the conference mobile app. By direction of the committee, I move the adoption of the program.
It is moved to adopt the conference program. Is there any debate? The question is on the adoption of the conference program. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Thank you, Abby. At this time, the chair announces that he appoints Maura McSweeney, Curtis Brashaw, and James Anderson to serve as the Minutes Approval Committee. The chair now recognizes State Secretary Treasurer Chloe Osherman to report on the minutes of the 2023 Annual Conference and to present the Treasurer's report.
The minutes of the 2023 Annual Conference were reviewed and approved by the Minutes Approval Committee. A copy of the minutes is available upon request from the State Office. There are currently 3,384 members in the Michigan Association. A complete financial report is available upon request from the State Office.
Thank you, Chloe. The next item of business is the report of the Nominating Committee. Maura, will you please give this report?
Voting delegates, as representatives of your chapter, you will be responsible for electing the 2024-2025 State Executive Council. Each candidate was interviewed earlier today and completed a state officer quiz. During the opening session, each candidate will speak on a topic given to them this morning. In addition, the candidates will answer one question on stage during this session. Each candidate will be evaluated as they speak. We will be looking for confidence, appearance, character, poise, and speaking ability. These are a few of the essential qualities of a State Executive Council member. Candidates will be ranked on a point system by the current State Executive Council, State Officer Coordinator, and State Director, collectively known as the Appointment Committee. The point system will be as follows. Candidates will be ranked on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least possible points, and 5 being the greatest possible points available. Candidates will campaign for the opportunity to serve Michigan BPA, but will not campaign for a specific office. Only the candidates receiving a majority vote from the voting delegates will be placed in specific offices by the Appointment Committee. After the conclusion of the opening session, the candidates will be ranked by the current State Executive Council on the basis of their application, interview, advisor recommendations, response to the impromptu question, and their speech. Prior to the conference, each candidate had the opportunity to submit a 100 to 150 word essay for publication in our conference materials. We highly encourage you to visit michiganbpa.org to download the voting delegate packet and review each essay as you evaluate the candidates. Voting delegates, we ask you to be consistent in evaluating each candidate's speech. This is extremely important as you are electing the next leaders of the Michigan Association of Business Professionals of America. As a reminder, voting delegates must be present during the entire annual business meeting and opening session. If you leave either session, you will forfeit the votes for your chapter.
We would like to introduce the candidates that are seeking an office on the 2024-2025 State Executive Council. Please stand when your name is called and proceed on stage. Aubrey Bowler, Bay Aranac ISD Career Center PM. Estrella Gallegos, Van Buren Tech. Kyla Garland, Sioux Area Career Center. Julia Havman, Leadington High School. Joshua Lee, Northville High School. Sarah Parasher, Saginaw Career Complex. Rosemary Roberts, Oakland Schools Tech Southwest Campus. Riley Saluski, Gibraltar Carlson High School, DCTC. Each candidate will choose an impromptu question from the bowl and will have 30 seconds to answer the question. Aubrey Bowler. Can you share a childhood experience that shaped your leadership style? Can you share a childhood experience that shaped your leadership style?
A childhood experience that shaped my leadership style was when I was appointed team captain for my 10U travel ball softball team. In doing so, I helped create drills with my 10U coaches that would help me and my teammates further our abilities in the softball game.
Estrella Gallegos. Can you recall a specific moment when you felt a strong sense of accomplishment? Can you recall a specific moment when you felt a strong sense of accomplishment?
It was actually when I won first place for my regional conference competition. My group did not think that we were gonna win first place. We were like really doubtful. We were stressing the day before. We're like, we're not gonna get this, we're not gonna get this. And we ended up placing first place. And I think in that moment, I was like, I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Kyla Garland. Share a memorable compliment or piece of feedback you received. Share a memorable compliment or piece of feedback you have received.
So last year, I was appointed to be the team captain of the JV softball team, and we were going through a bit of a rough patch. We couldn't win a whole lot of games, and I remember going to my coach and having a discussion with her and just letting her know how things were going for me physically because I had an injury, and she told me that I reminded her a lot of herself and that I have amazing leadership skills and that she knew I was able to push through anything that life threw at me.
Julia Havman. What motivates you to get out of bed every morning? What motivates you to get out of bed every morning?
The thing that motivates me to get out of bed every morning is knowing that I can make a difference in somebody's life. Even if it's just giving them a smile or giving them a compliment, if I can make somebody's day even a little bit better, it motivates me every single day.
Joshua Lee. What's a unique talent or strength you possess that enhances your effectiveness as a leader? What's a unique talent or strength you possess that enhances your effectiveness as a leader?
My unique talent is being open-minded and having a strong communication skill, as well as having leadership. For example, I led my engineering team to 3 national victories, and we actually got nationals this year again. So I feel like that our team and everyone that participated and how we all grouped together was a huge success.
Sarah Parasher. What's one skill you've been actively working on improving and why? What's one skill you've been actively working on improving and why?
One skill I've been actively working on improving is resourcefulness. I think that resourcefulness is a really important quality and that it's important to work on it because with resourcefulness, it means that any problem or challenge that you come across, you'll be able to solve it, and that gives you the quality to go through hard times and just keep pushing. So I think it's important to always keep improving and working on it. Thank you.
Rosemary Roberts. Share a personal motto or value that influences you. Share a personal motto or value that influences you.
A personal motto that I kind of just live by is, if I can, I will. I always go about my days every day. If someone asks me something, if I can do it, I will. To me, that is just something I've always kind of gone along with. It's very important to me that I can help others in any way I can. I'd say that's the biggest part for me.
Riley Saluski. What's a hobby or interest of yours that you believe contributes to your leadership abilities? What's a hobby or interest of yours that you believe contributes to your leadership abilities?
So I play tennis. I'm a singles player, and growing up I always did it, and not a lot of people believed in me. I wasn't that great of a tennis player. But over the summer of 8th grade, I worked hard, I really got at it, and I became really good. And by 10th grade, I was able to become a leader at tennis for our captain's team. Basically, tennis has really taught me that anything can happen as long as I put my mind to it, and it can do whatever I want if I have that mindset. And if I can do that, then I can do anything and be a leader of anything I want.
That will conclude the impromptu questions. Good luck to all of the candidates.
The next item of business is the second report of the Credentials Committee. The chair recognizes Vice President of Communication, Curtis Brashaw.
Mr. President, attached is a list of the names of the voting members of the conference as of 6:50 p.m. The committee reports that there are the following number of voting delegates entitled to vote: 174. In addition, the committee reports the following number of non-voting delegates present: elected officers, 6, past presidents of Michigan BPA, 4. Past national officers, 5. Alumni, 35. Chapter members, 1,506. Guests, 210. Total number in attendance, 1,940. On behalf of the committee, I move that the roll of delegates hereby submitted be the official roll of voting and non-voting members and guests of the conference.
It is moved to adopt the Credentials Committee report. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to a vote on the Credentials Committee report. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Madam Secretary, do you know of any further business which should be transacted at this time?
I have none, Mr. President.
Are there any announcements?
Mr. President.
The Chair acknowledges Executive Vice President Maura McSweeney.
I would like to make a few announcements. First, a reminder that only the voting delegates whose name badges were scanned upon entering the session will be eligible to vote at tomorrow's Meet the Candidate campaign rally. If the designated voting delegates of your chapter did not have their name badge scanned at the start of this session, please see a state officer immediately after we adjourn this session. The Parade of Presidents will begin promptly at 7:30 p.m. All chapter presidents and one designated chapter member participating in the Parade of Presidents should meet the state officers outside of the doors of the ballroom to my right immediately following this session. More instructions will be given at that time.
Are there any other announcements? We are about to adjourn this annual business meeting of the Michigan Association of Business Professionals of America. As we associate together, let us be supportive of each other as we strive to attain the goals of this organization. If there is no objection, I now declare this meeting adjourned.